When you open a digital calendar to drag an appointment from Thursday to Friday, you are interacting with a specific kind of metaphysics. There is a blank grid, a solid-colored rectangle, and a movement from left to right. This spatial intuition scales into our cultural mythology. We learn to view the past as a region behind us and the next month as a location ahead, treating the passage of days like the traversal of a physical map. Science fiction tropes lean into this geometric view. Whether it's an alternate history or a branching timeline, the underlying assumption is that the past and future are physical territories that can be visited, edited, or mapped like a continent. We have become so adept at navigating dates as if they were coordinates that it becomes difficult to distinguish the human interface from the actual nature of reality. A different perspective is emerging from modern process physics and ancient philosophy. This framework, known as Changism, proposes that reality is an ongoing field of physical movement rather than a static timeline. This shift involves our ontology, the study of what actually exists. In this model, the rigid grid of time dissolves into a thick field of continuous movement. Within this field, things, like rivers or planets, are stable patterns of co-change, robust regimes of activity maintaining shape despite constant internal micromovement. If the universe is entirely composed of constant physical flux, we must account for how we came to view it as a rigid geometric cage. For most of our history, humans didn't track a measurable substance called time. They tracked recurring natural changes, the moon's phases, the flooding of rivers, and the movement of the tides. The first conceptual leap was naming these rhythms. By referring to the next full moon or the harvest, communities could coordinate their actions across distances. These names acted as handles, allowing people to refer to recurring changes even when they weren't happening. With the rise of agriculture and complex cities, these rhythms became administrative tools. Public ledgers, temple schedules, and tax deadlines turned natural recurrence into countable, shareable data used to coordinate thousands of people. This transition required physical tracking tools. This Egyptian shadow clock used physical notches to standardize the changing light, providing a public record that anyone could consult. By transforming natural cycles into enforceable public data, we created the first societal sense of time as a tangible substance. The ledger began to look like the reality it was meant to track. This is the conceptual trap. When a tracking tool is successful, the underlying change starts to drop out of view. Eventually, we stop talking about the sun's movement and start talking about the abstract unit of a day. Ancient thinkers like Aristotle warned against this. He argued that time is not a physical substance or a container, but simply a number or measure of motion with respect to before and after. This warning was largely discarded by the 17th century. Isaac Newton formally declared that absolute time exists as an independent stage, flowing equably without relation to anything external. This overlooked the ledger logic of the universe. Time is a ratio comparing different physical processes. We use the predictable swing of a pendulum or the vibration of an atom to measure the change in everything else. It is a bookkeeping device, not a fluid. The map of the calendar became our ontology. We promoted a human-invented tracking system into the fundamental structure of the universe. Modern science fiction spectacularizes this mapped image. Stories about temporal loops or changing the past are intuitively attractive because our minds have been trained by centuries of calendars and diagrams to see time as a navigable structure. These stories give narrative form to very human feelings: regret, hope, and the ambition for control. They are the mythology of a civilization that lives by the clock. None of this makes timelines or clocks false. They are among our greatest inventions for coordinating human life. The danger is purely in forgetting that the tool is a tool. When the map becomes invisible, we mistake the grid on the screen for the movement of the world. The real story is that we didn't discover an invisible dimension called time, we coordinated physical change. From that success, a powerful metaphysical illusion emerged. In this light, the past exists as maintained physical records, like the data in a computer or the rings in a tree. The future exists as standing physical potentials, the dispositions of matter poised to act. When you conceptually strip away the geometric timeline, you can perceive the real pulse of the universe underneath. You are not a passenger moving through a stage. You are an active pattern of movement in a universe that is constantly physically in act.